Getting our friends together isn't as easy as it used to be. We get it. Life comes at you fast. But trust us, your pals are desperate for a good hang. And when they hear you stock the party with drinks from Drizzly, they'll be banging down your door. Let Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery, take care of the supplies. All you need is an excuse. It doesn't even have to be a good one. It's your dog's birthday. The loquats are finally ripe. Whatever. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on a massive selection of beer, wine, and spirits and get them delivered straight to your door, which means you can entice the crew to leave their houses without ever leaving yours. Whatever the occasion, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Today. Must be 21 plus. Not available in all locations. Man, I wish they had Drizzly when I used to play D&D and Riffs. Maybe it's time for me to start again. Thanks, Drizzly.
The podcast playground.
Hooray! Hey, it's my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. And Merry New Year. If anybody watched Trading Places. Oh, that's such a good one. I hope you liked the list. I did a list on Saturday, if you didn't hear it, of I don't know. It was I gave a bunch. It was like, I think it was like 18 by the end of it. Non-traditional Christmas movies that are great to watch during the holidays. If you're like me, sometimes I'm like low-key in the mood for Christmas, but not totally in the mood for Christmas. And that's I just like I had a whole bunch of movies. There was a couple different movies that I really wanted to kind of get out there into people's ears. One in particular that I'm remembering now is In Bruges. I fucking love In Bruges. What a great movie. Takes place over the holiday. Very funny. Colin Farrell. And I think it's Patrick Gleason. Fucking amazing. Amazing movie. Anyway, listen to that list if you want to check out that list. If you don't make it through all of today's episode because like, oh, I don't know, I want to listen to all these Christmas movies. But like, seriously, I made this episode because of FX's A Christmas Carol that they put out in 2019 with Guy Pearce. It's a 4-part telling of A Christmas Carol, and it is the most fucking incredible telling of the Christmas Carol I've ever seen. It's just like, man, it will make you feel some shit. And I'm going to talk about it later, but like, if that's all you get from this episode, go watch. Came out 2019, A Christmas Carol from FX, starring Guy Pearce. Oh my God, it really like moving as fuck, you know, because like today's episode is about Christmas. And first, thank you guys so much. You know, this show has given me so much purpose, and really helped me to think about the business of entertainment. You know, all of this comics and films, and as I'm making my own business and like really being able to think about it that much more deeply, and it's because people like you are listening. And I just thank you. The greatest Christmas present that I ever could have gotten this year. Actually, I've got my first paid sponsorship that's going to be popping up on one of these shows soon, and that's I only just became like eligible for that a month ago or something like that, and then we just switched ad houses, and now with our new ad house, I already have an ad, and you know, our listenership had like stabilized like a little, like in terms of like our number of downloads for a little bit, but our hours, minutes, whatever listened to, like how long you guys were listening, that you guys were listening to the whole episode and all that, that grew immensely. And like because of that, we've continued to like make more and more money every month. And like, you know, I'm now a podcaster for a living. Like that's my primary job. I podcast. I got a new music show too, which I'm going to do like a tiny little Christmas music podcast, I think, after this, just for this week, because I was going to take off because we're only like 4 weeks into that show, but it's basically just a spotlight on my favorite bands. Eventually, it's called All Your Favorite Bands Suck, with Jesse Blaze Snyder. If you want to look it up, the podcast All Your Favorite Bands Suck, and it's just spotlights on all these bands that I think basically don't get enough mainstream attention. So there's plenty of rock bands that do get mainstream attention, or comedy bands that do get attention, but like not like, like within the rock community, but they don't get like the crossover attention of mainstream people. And that's really what it is, kind of like a show directed at the mainstream audience, going like, all these bands that they're recommending to you are like fucking soft and safe, and there's so many interesting bands out in the world, and I'm going to share them with you. So now I'm doing that show, and I'm doing this, and we're actually going to be doing some really cool stuff on YouTube pretty soon, and all of this is just kind of the continuing build from this podcast, and me being able to have a platform to talk about the things that I love, I guess in a bit of an intellectual way, where we can break them down and like kind of look at how much better these things could be. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like telling me how much they loved Loki, and they were kind of like, hand up, like, don't you hate on my Loki? And I said to the person, I said, oh yeah, like I liked it, and I like kind of want to like it. At the same time, I just do this for a living, and I know enough that I believe it could have been better. And that's really the place where I come from all the time, of just like, I know how wonderful things can be because I seek out wonderful things. And, I'm somebody who, if you want recommendations for any number of things, I can fucking load you up, because I love to study, anything that I'm learning, whether it's like life science and shit that I need to know for living in the world and being healthy and being conscientious, or whatever it is, or entertainment, because those are like the things I love. The things I love are like my kids, like being the best person that I can be, and understanding the world and my place in it as best I can, and enjoying imaginings of what could be and what the future might hold through fantasy and science fiction and stuff like that. And because this is my main pastime, I understand this stuff. I'm good at this stuff. I have good taste. I really do. I like to find wonderful things, and I'm somebody who goes out of my way to try to appreciate. And I'm even somebody who goes out of his way to appreciate things that I wouldn't normally appreciate if I notice that other people seem to be appreciating it. If I see a lot of people appreciating something, I go, what is it that they're appreciating? And I try to get in there. Like classically, record executives would go to concerts and they'd see 2,000 people there, and they'd be like, all right, I'll sign them. And they didn't understand the band. They just went, well, these people seem to like it. But I go, all right, I'm going to go in the little back of the crowd here, and I'm going to, start kind of absorbing this. And, I'm going to get into the center of the crowd, see what's going on here. I'm going to talk to a couple people. I'm going to ask them what they like, because I want to know. I've always wanted to know, and I guess this comes from being kind of like a people pleaser, and I just want people to like me, kind of thing, because I like people in general, and like I like to play games, and I like to interact. I like to play sports, so I just want friends. I want to interact with people in fun ways, and there's different ways that I've come to really appreciate people and life, and in comics and through geek culture and stuff, and I just want to be everybody's buddy. So me wanting to understand what is entertaining people and making people happy just comes from that. So it's really just my nature, and because of the things that like I focus on, I'm well suited to be here and give some credible thoughts on any of this stuff, some thoughtful thoughts, because I care and I love and I want this stuff to be good. So please, always when you're hearing what I'm saying, if I'm critiquing something, always realize that this comes from a place of, I love this stuff, and if I'm talking about it, it's because I really believe in it. I believe in its ability, its power, what it could be, and any critiques are said in disappointment that we couldn't have something better, because I just want everybody to have the best version of all the things. And the books are always better, the comics are always better, the novels are always better. They just are. But I'm the person who is eternally optimistic that like, well, why can't we get this as great as this up there? I believe it's possible. And I want to see more people figure out how to do a better job at, making that shit happen. But today, we are here to celebrate the magic of Christmas and some of the movies that fucking fill me with the most delight. And, some of these may be familiar to some of you guys out there, depending on what age groups that we have. But, I'm realizing, and I said this to my ex-wife, because I was sharing the list with her, and she was like, a couple of the movies, she was like, people don't know that movie. I'm not trying to, sorry, Patty. Sorry, people don't know. I wasn't trying to make you sound like a dick. But she was just sort of like, incredulous about a couple of them. Like, come on, because they're a big deal to her and I. But we're both 41, 42, or something like that. So, there's many generations that haven't necessarily been turned on to these things in these ways. So, forgive me if any of these seem obvious to you, but I think for some people, some of these are a little bit less obvious because, when you do go look at various lists and stuff, you don't find them all. Whenever I make my lists, I'll always write down, because usually it's inspired by one or a few, in particular, the FX A Christmas Carol just really inspired this because I wanted to talk about it so badly. It's so good. It was so good. But I'm not there yet. That's at number one. What up, guys? Jesse Blaze Snyder here. And whether your resolution is to save money, eat better, or stress less, HelloFresh is here to help you do all three. Say hello to your most delicious year yet with fresh ingredients and chef-crafted recipes at a price point you'll like. Delivered right to your door. So you've resolved to actually sit down and eat dinner around the table like me. But what do you do about those nights when your schedule's packed, like mine always is? Turn to HelloFresh's lineup of quick and easy meals, including their 15-minute recipes designed to help minimize mealtime stress. It's really awesome, actually. My brother, Shane, he was doing Twitch, and he had a sponsorship from HelloFresh. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we got a bunch of HelloFresh meals, and we ended up doing it for a few months because it was just awesome. It was super convenient. The biggest thing about it that I liked was that I didn't feel like I was wasting food all the time because everything was cut into portions exactly what you needed for the meals. And the meals were delicious. My girl was making them mostly, and I mean, they were really great and usually pretty easy to get done, fast and stuff. I really highly recommend HelloFresh. It's quite a cool experience to just have that food show up to your door. Here's the directions. Here's everything pre-cut. And, you're just cleaning up the dishes to get it done. So go to HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree and use code CoolGeekFree for free breakfast for life. I'm so excited to offer that to you. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree with code CoolGeekFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. The lists that you'll find, I don't know. What I would call them is boring. Most of the ones that you're going to find that are on some of these lists, they're boring, and some of them are good. I mean, there's really tons of classics that you'll hear about. Holiday Inn and A Miracle on 34th Street and It's a Wonderful Life, and It's a Wonderful Life is so fucking good. A Miracle on 34th Street is really great too. Especially, I like the classic one. I think I haven't watched that one in a while, but that and other people love Holiday Inn and The Ref, and there's so many good ones that people know, but there's a ton that just fall by the wayside because they're animated or they're a little weird in one way or another, but they're magical, and there are just a ton of them that I'm so fucking excited to share with you. So forgive if any of these are whatever. Oh, and little bonus one here. I remember seeing this in theaters with my family over New Year's. I don't remember what happened. We had a flood or something like that or whatever, and we decided we were going to leave the house on New Year's, and the bell rang while we were watching a movie called Mouse Hunt with Nathan Lane, and it's he plays it with his brother. I don't remember the name of the actor of the other guy. He's been in some movies, like There's Something About Mary and stuff, but I don't remember his name. Some great guest appearances by Christopher Walken and a couple other things. It had come up along one of these things as a Christmas movie. I don't remember it necessarily. That's not true. I did have a vague memory that there was some Christmas link in it, but I couldn't remember what it was. And I was searching online to see if I could find, what it was, but I didn't find it. But if it has anything to do with it, either way, it's a lovely movie. It's kind of like a Looney Tunes movie brought to life, and I've just associated it with New Year's, and just to add to that non-traditional list, if I had seen that earlier in the week, I would have put that on the list because Mouse Hunt is fucking great. So anyway, also bonus here for our what'll be 15 list is kind of a lead off to number 15, number 14, and number 13. These are these Bassin Rice. I forget what they freaking call it. What's the production company that made these things? But these are these claymation movies that were made at the time. I think when my mom was a little girl, these movies were made. And they, you've got the Heat Miser and the Cold Miser, and you've got, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's classic. You got Santa Claus is Coming to Town with just seeing sort of the origin of Santa Claus and Kris Kringle as a young man and all this stuff. It's awesome. I love claymation, and again, these aren't on a lot of like these basic lists. So I don't know if everybody's finding their way to them. Granted, I know they'll be on DVD covers and stuff, so maybe you're seeing them. But at the same time, I also imagine that maybe people are seeing them, but it seems kind of old-fashioned or hokey or whatever else. Like, no, dude. This stuff is great. It's all great. The Year Without a Santa Claus is really like, one for me. I think I put that at number 13. Santa Claus is coming. I mean, they all are. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is so great, which I had at 15 because I thought maybe more people were likely to have seen that. But the sequel, which is my bonus, which is Rudolph's Shiny New Year, which is really great. He's got this story with Baby New Year. I used to have nightmares about this vulture character that's in it, going to the archipelago. This stuff is moody and cool and interesting, and it's all claymation and fucking fun. So, if that like warms your heart at all of like claymation and cool stuff, if you like Nightmare Before Christmas and Paranorman and some of these movies that use claymation, or that recent Pinocchio film that Guillermo del Toro did that I recently saw, it was pretty good. I really recommend these, and they're short too. I think they're all like 90 minutes maybe, and maybe even shorter than that. But it's Rudolph Shiny New Year. That's the New Year's one, and that one's adorable, but worth watching the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer one first because it's kind of like the follow-up or whatever. The Year Without a Santa Claus and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I think Santa Claus is Coming to Town is the one to start with there, and then watch The Year Without a Santa Claus because it's kind of like sequel there too, because Santa Claus is Coming to Town is his origin story, which I love that. Love that. Okay. Continuing at number 12, we've got Ernest Saves Christmas. There is one actor who, whenever I see the lists of like People magazines, all the dead, people who died, over the years, when I see Jim Varney, Ernest P. Worrell, they always use the same like photo of him with this big goofy smile and giving the thumbs up. And dude, this man spent his life playing the fool. He just emasculated himself and made himself the fool to all for the laughter of children. This movie's great because there's like this no-nonsense teenager who's kind of like wants to goof on him and wants to be in resistance to his sweet goofiness the whole movie. There's Santa Claus whose, patience is stretched by Ernest. I really enjoy all of these Ernest movies. To a certain degree, you got to be a little innocent like I am to enjoy them because he's such a fucking goofball, and he's just putting himself on the line, just on the ground, giving us his belly, being just silly and ridiculous and stupid so that we can laugh at him. And, that's it. Like, Ernest is like, so we can laugh at him. Hey guys, laugh at me. To me, there's just something so fucking earnest and honest and wonderful about Jim Varney. Makes me choke up. He's the Slinky Dog in Toy Story. Oh, see, I got all sad. Well, it's really nice. I love him. I love him, and I feel like people make fun of him, and it makes me mad. Because, I feel like they don't get it. They don't get what a good man he clearly was, and I love that. Whenever I put on those movies, I go, this guy gave his life to entertain mostly kids who were willing to see his genius. And
at the expense of a lot of respect, I'm sure. And like, just seeing how people view some like his stuff and like, just like goof on that stuff and just think it's so lame. Like it's just, something that you want to get away from. Well, he's obviously really, well, he was lame to make us laugh. And the Ernest Saves Christmas movie hits me in the feels every time, but I still enjoy Ernest Goes to Camp. I still enjoy Ernest Goes to Prison, which is also really funny. There's some in there that are definitely a little cringy and not so good, but some of the classics, those three in particular, come to mind. They're great, and he's gone, and honor him, and like watch it with your kids. If you got kids, like please, like put it on. Introduce them to Ernest. Let the next generation of kids be able to get a little relief from Ernest P. Worrell, who is like a living Muppet, who hard as he tries and sweet as he is, cannot quite get anything right. Anyway, I'm crying about him because he's dead, and I don't know. He deserves the legacy that Mr. Rogers has, and so many others, and I just I don't see anybody talking about this dude and like how he dedicated his life to this this stupid concept that kids love. And I really wish I knew a little bit more about it, but I just feel like I see Jim Varney's heart and that he was a good dude. I don't know. I hope so. Anyway, I'm moving on because I'm crying. Okay, 11. I don't know. It's hard for me to say, like, in the history of Christmas and, like, I don't know, like, longevity or whatever, because I've only watched them a few times, and a lot of times, like, the additional times it was in the background. They came out with a sequel. I enjoyed both of them, and I definitely really enjoyed the first one. And part of this is just I really enjoy Kurt Russell. And Netflix put out a movie called The Christmas Chronicles, and they did a sequel to it. And just freaking Kurt Russell is Santa Claus, and he's awesome. I mean, Kurt Russell's fucking awesome, and it's good enough. It's a great enough vehicle for Kurt Russell to be awesome being Santa Claus. So I recommend that one. I really thought it was pretty cool, and it's just a memorable Santa is something that I am often looking for. I've got a memorable Santa coming up in a little bit, or rather a memorable like Santa origin story. So I really enjoyed that one. All right, at number 10, I don't know those of you who grew up watching Pee-wee's Playhouse. I did. I always enjoyed Pee-wee's Playhouse. I also always found Pee-wee's Playhouse sort of like weird, but like I liked it. So I didn't necessarily like rewatch a lot of stuff with like Pee-wee's Playhouse, but I did rewatch all the time the Christmas special, which had like some great musical guests, some really awesome renditions of songs. Like in particular, I just always remember, I think, Feliz Navidad, which is done on that song, a really great on the show, a really great version of Feliz Navidad. And I'd never heard that song before, and I sing it all the time, all from having watched that as a child. Like to this day, I'll sing it to myself and I'll hear it in my head. It's such a pretty song, a really great rendition. I don't remember who did it. I haven't seen it in a minute. I've been meaning to turn my kids onto it. Maybe I will next few days. But it was so fun. The whole Christmas special. And again, I haven't seen it in a minute, so I don't remember all the details. Like I'm remembering this running gag about fruitcakes. But in general, it was a highlight of the holiday season. Again, a bit of a different kind of thing. It was like Pee-wee's Playhouse was a weird show where he would just kind of have people come visit him in this great space that he had, where he had all these kind of like animatronic and puppet kind of friends. And the Christmas version of that was just that much more fun. So yeah, check out that. Definitely an interesting, weird one. You know, we lost Paul Herman recently. Is it Paul Herman? Paul Rubens. Just recently, and or recently enough, and you can honor the man's legacy by watching his Christmas special, which was pretty awesome, I think. All right, at number 9, I've got Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. You know, this is just, I'm a Muppet fan first and foremost. That's my first fandom. If I'm a geek, of anything, I'm a Muppet geek, and I'm really a Jim Henson geek. And this film is great. I think it was a special on television at some point at the time, and I don't remember how I saw it the first time. This is one of those movies where, like, when I became conscious of, like, what films have I seen, it was one of the movies that I had already seen quite extensively. It's just a super sweet film. It's very simple, but it's got some great music in it, some really wonderful Christmas songs, and some sweet, kind sentiment about giving and caring and love. And it's just a sweet, cute little movie about critters. Sorry, bless me. I don't know. Hopefully that didn't record. Usually it doesn't. Who are celebrating Christmas in the woods and dealing with all the same kind of simple hardships of not really having as much as you'd like to have to get the people you love the presents that you'd like to get them, and having to sometimes make sacrifices or give things that you have to people when you don't have everything that you want to give gifts and stuff. It's a really sweet film. One of the earlier Jim Henson outputs, and I think one of the ones that solidified him and like as a what you call it, as really having something to offer, something meaningful to offer. It's it's cute, funny. It's not generally like, you're not going to be like laughing your ass off or anything, but there's some funny stuff. Frank Oz plays the bad guy, the leader of like this biker gang. I forget what kind of animal he is, but he's a funny character. But generally, it's very sweet and heartwarming, kind little Christmas movie. So if you want to warm up to something that makes you feel warm and fuzzy, and just kind of Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, that's the way to go. Okay, at number 8, we've got Santa Claus the movie. This starred Dudley Moore as the basically like Santa's head elf, who is just the shit. He's like the inventor who's making all these things, but he feels like he basically embarrasses himself at the beginning of the movie. I think he's supposed to be up for being like the head of the shop, and he doesn't make it or whatever. And he ends up going to this unscrupulous toy maker played by John Lithgow. And it's really over the top, but funny and entertaining. Great performances by John Lithgow. Dudley Moore, for me, is just somebody who I find charming and I like, so I can watch him in anything. And the best part of the movie, I'm kind of glad that I'm not remembering any of the details right now, because I feel like it's lovely to discover on your own. I mean, I guess I kind of remember the details. Well, basically, it just depicts an origin of Santa Claus that is incredible. Really just like incredible. Basically the movie just opens with the Santa Claus and his wife, before they're Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, going through this terrible storm with some of their reindeer, and they feel like they're gonna die, like we're lost, we don't know where we are, what's going on. And then all of a sudden, like, everything just goes calm and things open up. And this little man comes out to talk to them and greet them. And he says, like, we've been waiting for you. We've been making toys. And you are going to deliver them. And he was already, of course, doing this on the small scale. But this was, these elves come to this man who's doing this kind thing, going out in a blizzard and giving, damn it, I'm going to cry again. It's Christmas. I'm too emotional about Christmas. I got a tree next to me. I'm in the living room at my ex-wife's house. I've been hanging out over here for Christmas. Just if you have like kids, it's like always such a hard thing to take them where you're living, and then like they can't see their friends and all that stuff. So I just try to go to them whenever it's like convenient for me, so that they can, just do whatever it is that is natural to them, and they're with all their stuff and whatnot. I just want them to be comfortable. But I'm gonna get all teary-eyed. But the idea of these wonderful people doing a wonderful thing, they're literally out in a blizzard, like delivering presents, not like, we'll go tomorrow. They're like, no, it's Christmas, it's Christ's birthday, gosh darn it. And saved by these elves who have been seeing what they've been doing. I've been watching them and feeling like we're going to amplify that. We're going to make that even bigger. And it kills me. We're going to make the giving even more. It's wonderful. I love Christmas. Christmas makes me want to cry when I am in touch with it. So forgive me. Forgive this episode of Jesse crying. Not another episode of Jesse crying because he feels things very strongly. Anyway, I highly recommend this one. I like this one so much. And just as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm totally going to put this on for me and my kids like tonight or tomorrow. Santa Claus the movie. Awesome. At number 7, this is a recent one. It's animated. As far as I'm concerned, it's classic already. I've only watched it like a couple times. I got to watch it again. But I just remember my kids buzzing about it and me seeing some bits of it in the background going, oh, wow, this looks really good. I want to watch this. Sit down, watch Klaus. Klaus on Netflix. It's animated and it's kind of a little bit of that Santa Claus is coming to town, like Origin of Santa kind of thing a little bit, or at least has some of that vibe. Different kind of thing, but awesome. Really, really, really love it. And it's new for me, so I don't want to like talk about it too much and like actually get any of the details messed up because I'm always absorbing so much stuff. So Christmas movies too, they can like cross. So I don't want to give information about a thing, and it's all wrong. But Klaus is awesome. That's right. I know that's right, and I'll be watching it more. Number 6, we got a really weird, creepy one, not to be watched with your kids. It's called Rare Exports, a classic, a Christmas tale. Rare Exports is a fucking weird, creepy ass, scary movie. I kind of like, I don't know. I mean, like, you just watch the trailer for it. It's like an evil Santa or something. It's there. It's just, yeah. Again, another one that I haven't watched recently, but I do enjoy, and I've watched more than once because it's a cool one, and I will be watching it again in the future, maybe soon. Now, so some of these I'm like, I haven't seen it in a while. It's like I've seen it for the first time, but I know it's great. Rare Exports is scary. It's an import. I don't know if it's like from Norway or something like that, but I'm pretty positive it's dubbed. Or you can watch it with subtitles probably. But really, really awesome. If you're looking for one of those great horror Christmas movies, that's one that sometimes people don't know about. Rare Exports, Christmas Tale. Awesome. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I am Groot. I fucking love the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. If you know what I'm talking about when I say I am Groot. My favorite usage of I Am Groot takes place at the beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special where Star-Lord is being played a Christmas song by this alien band who has been basically like getting all these stories about Christmas, and they've written a song based on what they've ascertained about the holiday that is, of course, like all wrong, but it's a great fucking song, a really, really awesome melody, well sung, well played, got a great vibe, very, very funny lyrics, and there's a great moment in it where Groot is in the crowd as like the teenage Groot, and he's just like putting his hands up in the air like, I love this, going, I am Groot. And I was watching it myself going, yeah, Groot, me too, I am Groot. I too am the Groot. Dude, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is awesome. A bunch of Kevin Bacon in there, and I mean, it's really just silly and fun. Mantis by the end of the series, Mantis, I think, is my favorite member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I just love that actress. Her performance is just so innocent and sweet. I love innocence. I'm innocent. I know I sound like somebody who's not so innocent, but that's just because like I'm dealing with all these predatory people in the world. So you have to like. That's why I originally called my company the Killer Rabbits Company. Now it's Blacklight District Studios, but the Killer Rabbits Company was a reference to like being like a fuzzy bunny, like living in a world with people who suck and are selfish and don't think about other people and don't care quite as much. And you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough, man. So I like the sweet characters. I do. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is so good. It's in my top 20 of like all the Marvel movies. Might have even made it into my top 15 or whatever. It's so fucking awesome. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, maybe but I just right. The music's great right from the freaking jump. An original Christmas song that doesn't suck. I fucking love it. It's awesome. Okay, continuing. At number 4, we've got something that I think has been eclipsed by the recent live-action version starring Jim Carrey, which is the original animated Chuck Jones. It's the dude who's famous for all the Warner Brothers like Bugs Bunny cartoons and Daffy Duck and all that stuff. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's so awesome. Specifically speaking, it's short. The classic song comes from there. You know, You're a Mean One, that comes from that whole bit. The performance of that and the original song is awesome, and it's just it's a lot of physical comedy and hilarity, especially with his dog. There's just so much great stuff with the dog that is, you know, the dog stuff is not as great in the film. The dog stuff in the animated film is like just hysterical and awesome. I really like this. I'm there for the Grinch's dog, basically. But the whole thing's great. This is the one that the Jim Carrey Grinch was, you know, basically building off of. You know, from the book, they made this animated thing. From the animated thing, they made the film. And this is just so classic and so wonderful, and I feel like it has been eclipsed in a lot of ways, and you know, like I had to like convince my children to watch it, you know, kind of thing. And if that's the case for you guys, like, make them, force it down your children's throat. Eat this! How the Grinch Stole Christmas starts here, you bitches! No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to offset all of the crying that I've been doing, talking about fucking Christmas shit. And how cool am I that I haven't gone back, and I'm not going to go back and delete anything, because that's how confident of a heterosexual I am. That's right. I can cry about sappy Christmas shit, even when it's whatever. I'm probably not going to get through the show without crying a little bit more. Okay. Okay. At number 3, and I don't know why this is at number 3. Really, this should be at number 2. All right, now fuck this. I'm switching it because I don't mean it. So I was like switching it because of people. Feel like people are judging me, but we'll talk about that in a second. All right, number 3, we've got another Jim Henson produced classic starring some Muppets, but not any Muppets that you'll recognize as all original characters, just like Emmett Otter's Drug Band was. This is a Christmas special that they produced called The Christmas Toy. I wasn't super into Toy Story actually when it first came out, even though I went on to write those comic books, and I have gotten into it. I love that franchise in general now, but at the time that I first saw it, I felt like it was actually ripping off a lot of things from The Christmas Toy. And I think I'm probably right about that, because John Lasseter seems pretty savvy, and savvy people watch great things and study great men, and Jim Henson's a great man, and I'm sure he probably watched The Christmas Toy. And they definitely borrow pretty heavily from it, but it was never theatrically released. It was a Christmas special that was like on television. I don't remember where or when. I'm not sure if I watched it on television, honestly, because I was very young when I was first turned on to it, but I eventually did find my way back to it. It's pretty awesome. The basic premise is just there's a Christmas toy, and he's so excited about Christmas because he's gonna that's the day where like his kid is gonna open him up, and he's gonna be so happy, and they're gonna have a great day. And the toys are like, nah, man, like, you know, there's gonna be a new person in the box, like, and he like, but they won't tell him. So he tries to like go get in the box, and there's a new toy. And he's like, you got to get out of here. Like, I'm getting in the box. And she's like, and she's kind of Buzz Lightyear-y, and she thinks that she's a whatever, you know, what I forget what she is. She's kind of like a Masters of the Universe, but like a very like female, an androgynous kind of like warrior person, or like sorceress. But it's very cute, very sweet. There's a couple aspects of it, like you're not supposed to be seen moving. If you get seen moving, basically you die. That was creepy. That's just like a little bit like, oh my goodness, they're dead. But Christmas Toy, it's awesome. Holds up, heartwarming, cool, interesting, make you think. And it's Jim Henson, man. Every excuse I have to tell you to watch something great from Jim Henson, I will, motherfuckers. Okay, at number 2, it should have been at number 2. This movie is one of my favorites. And prior to A Christmas Carol, I would probably tell you it was one of my favorites. Like one of my top 5 or whatever. There's few things that I would put above it. But I found out recently that it was actually featured on the Mystery Science Theater show where they made fun of it. And I haven't watched, and I got to watch the Mystery Science Theater thing or whatever. But as soon as I heard that, it killed me because I was just like, oh my God. I literally have a vision that one day I'd love to bring this to Broadway, and because I think it is one of the greatest musicals ever written. And the music is very, very simply done and performed here. But the melodies and the lyrics and the ideas behind these songs, the ideas behind The Christmas That Almost Wasn't, are so sweet and good and meaningful and moral and lovely, and this movie is just filled with gratitude and giving. The songs are just so catchy. I mean, just I'm gonna spit a few bars for you. There's the hook song that opens up the movie, which is called "The Christmas That Almost Wasn't," right? And it's, there once was a Christmas that almost wasn't, almost wasn't, almost wasn't. There once was a Christmas that almost wasn't because of a man named Prune. Fucking amazing. And the verse there, Prune, Prune was his name. If there was no Christmas, he's to blame. There once was a Christmas. It's so fucking good. Songs go in there. One of the other ones that lead the movie is, why can't every day be Christmas? Why can't every day be gay? Why can't every day be Merry Christmas each and every day? Fucking awesome. There's a bunch of silly songs in the movie. There's only one song that sucks. I showed my kids it recently, and a lot of what is being made fun of here is just sort of the low rent nature of the whole thing. It's being put on a pretty small scale for what Christmas is and what these things are. But there's just so much there. There's this sweet song called "What Are Children Like When They're Wide Awake" that Santa sings. What are children like when they're wide awake? Are they just as sweet as they can be? Do they get in trouble? And on other days they bubble. I don't remember all the fucking lyrics, but oh my God, beautiful. It's a song about Santa's I've never actually met a real child. They're always asleep when I see them. And oh my God, it's so sweet. It's so fucking sweet. There's this song of them helping Santa Claus, where all the children are rallied to help Santa. Santa goes to this guy. The whole basic premise is it starts with Santa going to Sam Whipple, this kid who had written him a letter years earlier where he said, if ever you need anything, there was a P.S. And he said, P.S., if ever you need anything, you get, reach on, call on me, Sam Whipple, Esquire. And whatever. He had written him, but it was from when he was little. And now he's a lawyer. And he shows up to Sam and he says, you were the only kid who ever wrote me a P.S. that said, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Never hesitate to ask. And I love that. Love it. I love it. I love it. It's so sweet. It's that is the foundational thing. Santa goes to get help from a kid who's all grown up, who told him when he was younger, you can ask me if you need help. And the whole movie is him trying to help Santa, him trying to figure out how to help Santa. There's a great scene at the beginning where he literally just goes home and he opens up his vault and he's looking at how much money he has. And he turns to Santa and he says, Santa, don't get me wrong, I am actually a really good lawyer, but it's Christmas and I've kind of have like a lot of money out in different places. He's like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And they come up with an idea that they're going to basically do the Macy's thing. Like, so this is like the origin of Santa going to going. This is the coolest thing. The movie is the origin of Santa going to shopping malls because Prune owns the North Pole and he's trying to kick him out if he doesn't pay the rent, and Santa needs to make some money. So he goes to a competitor of Macy's. And basically, he's like, "We got the real Santa," kind of thing, and they put him in there. There are so many other good songs. There's a great silly song called "Prune." They're trying to find letters from Prune because Prune, again, very simple and maybe silly ideas to some, but this could be done so well and executed even more beautifully, and I hope that more will be done with it because it's just such a wonderful Christmas movie, and I don't want it to be forgotten by people. I want people to remember this movie because it's so beautiful. Prune refuses to believe that he was ever a child. He's blacked out being a child. He hates children. He wants Santa to stop giving them presents. He just wants Santa to stop. He says, you can live here for free. I'm a nice guy. You don't have to. You live in the North Pole. Just stop giving all these awful children presents. And it's all so simple and so wonderfully done. If you are open to the small scale in which you will see it, it's an Italian movie. Was dubbed over. The only Italian actor whose actual voice is in it is the main, the bad guy, who I guess is like the main producer of this film, who's a pretty big deal in Italy. I came to find out. I forget what the guy's name is, but you can look into it if you're interested. And my mom used to watch this movie when she was a little girl on like reruns or whatever. It was already a little old then when she was seeing it, but she turned me onto it. And my favorite musical of all time is The Little Shop of Horrors, made by Alan Menken. And damn you, Scuba Steve! Why can't I ever remember my fucking favorite musician? I can remember frickin' Alan, and I can't remember person whose music I fucking love. This makes me so fucking mad. I'm looking it up right now. Beauty and the Beast, music by, it's Alan Menken and what's his name? Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. Howard. Why can't I ever remember Howard Ashman's name? Howard Ashman is one of my favorite songwriters of all time. I don't know why. I always have such a hard time remembering his fucking name. It drives me crazy. I feel so disingenuous. Disingenuous? I don't know. When like this is my favorite. I can't even remember his fucking name. Always have such a hard time, and I can always remember his songwriting partner, who I don't think is as good, even though he's done plenty of good things, but not what Howard Ashman did. Howard Ashman's Little Shop of Horrors is the single greatest musical ever written. As done as a musical. And I mean, granted, in his animated films, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid are there too. But The Christmas That Almost Wasn't is my second. And there's one song in it that's not great and a little bit maybe useless. It's called Wait. It's like, when you wait. It's just like a silly, stupid song. But it's like the last song of the movie. The rest of the songs are just one after another of sweetness and good. And I just like, there's multiple songs that I haven't named because they're just not popping into my brain right now. And I'll give you some things to find when you get there. But it's such a sweet movie. If you can get past the low rent nature of maybe the sets and costumes or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind it. I guess it's like just the small scale of it all is maybe the thing that they were making fun of or whatever. But the music is truly good, truly meaningful, truly interesting. Granted, there are some concepts that I guess you can make fun of in there of like, the children trying to help Santa Claus financially with all their pennies and like, but the movie is awesome. I hope that you guys will give it a try if you have made it this far, if you like a good musical, if any of these songs that I'm mentioning sound fucking fabulous. It's awesome. It's so fucking awesome. Not enough people know. The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Okay, here we are. We're getting to it. I already talked about it a little bit at the top of the show, in case you didn't come in. It's the FX produced A Christmas Carol 4-part special. starring Guy Pearce as Scrooge. This fucking, oh my God, miniseries, I guess you call it. It is so good. It is so wonderful. It is my favorite Christmas thing ever made. I love Christmas Carol versions of the Christmas Carol. It's a Wonderful Life was my top when it comes to, like, just like if I was making a movie of like Christmas films that are just my favorite, period, it'd be a different list than this. Oh, even though some of these things would be on the list for me. A lot of these things would be on the list for me. But some aren't, my favorite. If we're breaking it down to 10, I can only have so many. But this movie jumped over It's a Wonderful Life, and jumped over the many different versions of A Christmas Carol that might show up on my list, from the classic Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol that I love, the Muppets Christmas Carol that I love, and there's other versions of Christmas Carol that I've enjoyed as well. But those two, the Disney one and the Muppet one, are probably my two favorites. And there are serious versions of the Christmas Carol that are good. But I enjoy like the lighter ones better. But it's only because those serious versions of the Christmas Carol, they do not hit like this FX produced 2019 miniseries does. I hope that so many people saw this when this came out. I mean, this is like height of the pandemic or whatever, I think 2019, or I don't know, beginning of it. Me and my family were in a cabin up in, maybe we were in Big Bear or down in Big Bear or something. I was in California. It was years ago now. It was in 2019 when it was coming out, and we had like a TiVo thing so we could record it and watch it or something. And we watched, we all must have watched it like 3 times. It's a 4-part series, and each one is at least an hour or maybe 2. We watched it multiple. No, wait a second. If it's an hour each and it's 4 parts, that would make sense. Then it would be 4 hours. Yeah. So it's like a 4-hour Christmas movie, but it's broken into parts. So you could do it, over a few nights and enjoy the hell out of it, or binge this fucking thing. It is so good. I mean, so good, so damn good. I mean, from the performance of Guy Pearce, how much you hate him, how much you sympathize for him because of the backstory and the terrible, sweet, awful backstory that is given to this this monster of a man. The backstory given to Jacob Marley. You see him. This is one of the cool bits about the movie is you see the other side of things, and you see Jacob Marley wake up in purgatory, and his soul is tied to Scrooge, and he's given these change and these boxes, and he's basically told, you are going to help us save this man, or else. And it's not a guarantee that we're going to be able to save him. And he is basically like, if I can't save the worst man I've ever met, I'm going to be stuck in purgatory for forever. I'll never see the other side. I'll never truly be dead. Like he's in this weird place, which is depicted in a lot of weird and interesting ways. And Andy Serkis plays one of the main ghosts. There's a few different ghosts, and he's got to pass. One of the ghosts is his sister, and he sees his sister, and there you see his past and abuse that he suffered at the hands of a headmaster of a school that he was sold to by his father for money, and you see his sister and what she did to try to help him, but he was broken and all these. It is so it is so powerful. I say all the time, we're so ready to just like slit the throat of a pedophile or some person who we find doing some detestable thing that we would never do. But unfortunately, most of these people who do these things, it was done to them. Hurt people. And while Scrooge here, he's not a pedophile, that's not the full thing. He's very damaged by experiences as a young man that were out of his control, that molded him into who he was. And I have never seen such things depicted so splendidly, so meaningfully. It's like you feel every moment of this movie and this series. And when it is done, it's like just catharsis, and because really meaningful things are accomplished over these 4 hours, really meaningful changes to a person that you believe, that you understand. There's a wonderful thing about it. It's a Wonderful Life when you just, can see that perspective of he's getting some perspective on his history, on what things would be like without him. And this thing of him being able to go back and past, the classic Christmas story and see these things. But it is depicted here, and I don't know, because I'm ashamed to say I've never actually read A Christmas Carol. It's been on my list of books that I'd like to read for a very long time. I actually had it on my iPad at a certain point in time with a bunch of other books that I downloaded that I wanted to read. But I just never happened to do it. I'm going to. Maybe I will this vacation. I'll read it to my children. But I've never been so blown away by a retelling of a story that I thought I knew, that I had seen so many different ways. This version of it just sort of is like the open sandwich. I mean, it's just like they open it up and expand upon what is going on here with these characters. Even why Bob Cratchit's wife hates Scrooge. And it is just not something to watch with young kids. But if you're an adult, or you've got some older kids, who are starting to talk about sex, think about sex, all those things, this is meaningful on so many levels. There's reality of situations and circumstances and what things can be. And this movie creates great, extreme, and awful circumstances to learn from. And it is just one of the most meaningful things I've ever seen in my life, period. I made this episode, and I usually don't do Wednesday episodes where I do countdowns, but really I just was like, I want to talk about this one movie, and I feel like if I just talk about one, it wouldn't necessarily have gotten everybody to come listen. So I was like, you know what? I'll talk about all these. I'll collect all of them. So there's tons of things that people will get from it. But dude, if you get anything from my list today, it's this. Go watch it. The FX A Christmas Carol from 2019, starring Guy Pearce. You will not be disappointed. You will be so glad. You will be writing me at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com saying, Jesse, I just finished FX is A Christmas Carol, and it was as fucking good as you said. I was glued to my screen for 4 fucking hours, and unlike the Justice League, I loved every minute of it. Yeah, it is. It's so good. I wanted to actually double check. I pulled up the thing here to see if it's got a time stamp on how long it actually is. I'm going to wrap this up in 1 second. Critics reviews, trivia, countries, official there. Do they have it? Yeah, runtime 2 hours and 53 minutes. Okay, cool. So it's shorter than that, or is that for one episode 2 hours 53 minutes? No, 2 hours 53 minutes runtime. That makes sense. Okay, so no wonder we were able to get through it a few times, but it is fucking incredible. Incredible. Watch it. It's in 4 parts. I can't recommend it enough. And A Christmas That Almost Wasn't. The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Watch that too. Anyway, that's it, Coolest Geeks. I'm your passionate geek culture commentator, Jesse Blaze Snyder. You can write to me at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com. I love you all so much. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm also going to leave us here with a song that my band Dilf USA that does the theme song. We put this out last Christmas. I didn't really like promote it much. I should have did this like on December 1st because like it's a countdown to Christmas. I feel so stupid that like I haven't been like using this just for this month just to make it festive. Music that I own that I can use, and it's a really good song. I wrote this for my family, and my guitar player loved it so much he just kind of sprung it on me that he'd made the whole song, and it was a real honor, and people seem to love it. We got a bunch of radio airplay last year, but this year I was busy doing other things, so we weren't able to really capitalize. But it's here, and you can find the video online, and hopefully you'll be able to find the theme song and Countdown to Christmas in music stores very soon. We got taken down from the music stores because like freaking I had a credit card that like it changed, and like I didn't know, and then it didn't pay it, and then it took it down, and then I had to pay a fucking stupid fee, and it was a whole damn thing. So all my music got taken down for Dilf USA for some reason for a little while, but it should be up pretty soon, including this song, but at the very least you can find it on YouTube. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to my show. Thank you for listening to my show across the board. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope you had a really great holiday. My kids had a great holiday. They were so happy. I was so happy to see them happy, and that's what it's all about. Anyway, I hope you join me again next Wednesday and this coming Saturday for another ass-kicking episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Enjoy Countdown to Christmas by Dilf USA. Love you. Bye.
Countdown to Christmas. Countdown to gifts. Countdown to smiles on all our lips. Countdown to peace on earth and peace of mind. Countdown to bliss. Countdown to Christmas. On the first day of December, we start our countdown to Christmas. Like all good things, it comes slowly. Anticipation gets us through it, but we don't want to wait to celebrate. We want it now and not a second too late. Countdown to Christmas, countdown to gifts, countdown to smiles on all our lips, countdown to peace on earth and peace of mind, countdown to bliss, countdown to Christmas. Lighting the tree, decorations, billions of light hearts, millions of places, searching slowly for just the right gifts that say I love you. Merry Christmas. But we don't want to wait to celebrate. We want it now and not a second too late. Countdown to Christmas. Countdown to gifts. Countdown to smiles